Welcome to the Rules Don't Apply show, where you discover successful entrepreneurs and all the rules they have broken that led them to their success today.
Guys, welcome to this week's episode. Today we have Fi Mazanke. She's an executive leadership coach. She's actually my mentor. So I'm really excited to have her on the podcast today. And so Fi's out here from Chicago, actually. We're really excited to have her. So
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to start the podcast off with asking you a question. What made you do what you want to do? Or what you're doing, sorry. What made you do what you are doing currently? What inspired it?
It's really a great story, and kind of a typical how things just really fell into place for me to be in this role. I was working a corporate job for a marketing company. I was a sales promotion manager for a marketing company, and I had two very young children, and I felt completely out of balance. One of the things that I did while I was there, and this was long before the work at home program was a program, is that I negotiated with my boss the ability for me to work at home because we lived over an hour away from the office. And so for me to have these two little kids, I wanted to have the greatest influence on my children. I thought, if the babysitter is going to be with the kids all day long, it wasn't acceptable for me because I wanted to have the strongest influence on my kids. So I negotiated that and it worked, but it was really challenging for me because I felt like I was constantly working. And when the kids were sleeping, I was working. And then when I put them to bed at night, I would continue working. So at home at that in that place and in that space, I was constantly working. So I felt really out of balance. And at the time I was speaking with a friend of mine, her name's Sheila, and I'm still friends with her. She's my mentor. She's 20 years older than I am. And we share a lot of really great life stories together. But anyway, she said, "Hey, Fi, I have a coach. I have somebody that I want you to meet. So please check her out." And so I started coaching with her to create more balance in my life. I felt like, it was work and my kids, and then I was on the bottom of the totem pole. And I really was experiencing burnout at the time. And so what happened was I started coaching and noticing that I was feeling better and that I was utilizing tools to help and support not only me, but my success at work and my family. And the main premise was that if you don't fill up your own cup, then you're not going to have anything to fill up the other cups. So your work cup, your mom cup, your wife cup, if you don't fill up your own cup first, then you're missing the boat. And so I started doing that. I started noticing right away, and my husband did too. Bob noticed right away that things were shifting and I was more uplifting and my energy was better. And so I just kept going along, and I knew there was something in my heart, and I absolutely knew that there was something for me to do that was different than what I was doing, but I didn't know what. I had no idea. So I just kind of put it out there and just said, I don't know what it is, but I know there is a calling of my heart. And one day, there was an organizational change within the company. And one day, my boss, who we were really partners, he was a vice president, and I really supported him with all decisions together. And because of the structural change in the organization, there was somebody else that came in that was kind of the third person in the group. And for 12 years, it was my boss and I. And we just had this synergy together. And so when the other person came in, I kind of felt like, hey, I've been doing that job. I just didn't have the title and I didn't have the paycheck, but I was doing that job and I was never considered for it. Part of which was because I was a woman. That was in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was a little bit disheartening for me. And there was one day, a July, really hot July afternoon. We went to TGI Fridays, the three of us together. And we were sitting outside and having lunch and having a business meeting outside. And my boss said to me, Fee, make a note of it. And Tim and I will discuss it later. And in that instant, my heart sank because at that point, our partnership, which was, Fee and Marty together, our partnership was like, wait a minute, what happened here? Now it's just me making a note, and they were just they would make the decisions together. And so um, shortly thereafter, I gave him my notice and he talked me into staying. Now, I had nothing. My heart was so hurt by the fact that all of these changes happened and I had nothing at all to fall back on. But I knew in my heart I had to leave. It was time for me to put in my notice. So I put in 2 weeks. He made me give him 5 months, train the incoming person. And he never wanted me to leave. And 2 weeks after I put in my 2-week notice, which turned into 5 months, 2 weeks after that, the opportunity to have a coaching certification program with the woman that I was coaching with came up. And so I enrolled and I brought coaching into the organization that after I enrolled, and we started. We started experimentally the first year, and then after that it went national because people were getting results. So all of this, as I could see it now, as I look back, and I always say our greatest traumas and tragedies really turn out to be the greatest triumphs in our lives. And I believe that wholeheartedly because I'm witness to it. I'm an example of that. Because here I was thinking that I was maybe going to have a promotion. I was maybe going to be the first female in the organization that would get an executive kind of role. And that didn't happen. But it led me into my passion. And so that's why I've been coaching for the last 25 years and I get a chance to work with people like you and I love it and it's not even work for me. It's just purely my passion for sure. So it was definitely a divine plan that I was able to kind of watch unfold.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that happened because now I get to coach with you, and it's been like a really humbling process, but also so helpful to me because before we had met, I mean, I was recently introduced into the self-development stage or space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after that, when we started working together, I didn't realize how many things that I had been through that had caused me to act the way that I was acting then, you know? And I think one of the first meetings we had, I had been holding on to something for 5 years, a past trauma that I had gone through and held on to it for 5 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, and had this breakthrough like, holy cow, this is awesome. So yeah, I'm so grateful for it because we got to witness some of it today with you putting on a workshop. She came over to my parents' house and we hosted a workshop for a lot of friends and family that came over and were able to experience what she does. And it was, I mean, for me, I mean, Nafe, what was your thoughts going through that workshop today? And yeah,
It was a transformation. I think most, because I've been in the personal development for space for quite a while now, and be able to see my own transformation. And I've been in a lot of like different coaching. But I think one of the attendees just gonna say what I wanted to say was you brought that whole program of every single thing that I learned over the years, and you put it in like what 3.5 hours, and you make it so simple that I mean, me and my wife was like talking about it on the way here. Was like we were we were shocked with how quickly the process. Where you just hit right in, and then we're like, "Oh, holy crap! You're telling me in within 10 minutes I can have my own transformation come through, like I can have my own breakthrough." And that was like very, it's unheard of, because you usually sit there 3 hours later, I'm not feeling anything. So that was like a really, really like cool experience for myself as I'm sitting there because I heard your name so many times, and I know Austin and his wife, they admire you. And every single time I meet Austin, and Austin was like, "Hey, I just have a session with her today," and Austin is like tearing, and I'm like, "Hey, man, like we cannot start our day like this, man. Come on, like." And then he speak highly of you, and I remember like the very first episode we showed here in the studio was I was asking Austin, I was like, "So, who are your mentors? People that you look up to that make dramatic change in your life?" And without like question, he was like, "Oh, easy, Fi." And so it's a great pleasure for me to be able to see across from you because I met people that you coach. But now I'm like sitting across from you, I'm like, "Oh, this is insane." Like, so it was just amazing. And my whole experience today was phenomenal. And I was shocked with how quickly things can change.
Yeah.
I mean, you already freaked me out with the card that I drew in the very beginning. you know, you spoke it to existence. I remember walking in there. I'm like, I don't even know. I've been in a lot of workshop like this, and you made a promise. You told me that whatever card that I'm gonna pick, it was for me. And I was fighting myself. I was like, man, I'm not open to this. And the first card I pulled, I'm like, you gotta. It was literally told me, it's like, hey, your attitude sucks, so you suck. Like, like change it up, right? It was,
That was
right?
really not the card.
Yeah, right.
Your
So it was-
interpretation.
Yeah,
But
so that was it. It was a reality check for me.
Yeah, it's truth, and sometimes truth happens, and sometimes it kind of hits you across the head, right?
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was literally what I was feeling because, like, nobody in there can come in. I mean, if it was from somebody else in there, I wouldn't be open to it. I mean, if my wife said the same exact thing, I'm like, oh no, I'm good. But to be able to open up a little piece of paper, and it was just a saying, and it hit me like I'm looking at it, and I was like, man, this is it. This is literally what I needed right now to be able to have my own transformation at the workshop. So it was a really, really cool experience for me. You kind of like go over and you talk about like what got you to that space that you're on right now, and you talk about leaving that comfort space for you.
Mhm.
And you use the word, there was nothing for you there to fall back on. And I kind of like related my life because for me, when it comes down to making decisions, especially when you feel like this is it, I need to move on, there's usually nothing there to lean on. How did you deal with that?
I have a lot of faith. I put my faith and trust in the power of love. I mean, thus the workshop that we ran today was all about the power of love. And so I always know, and I attribute my faith to my mom. My mom was a former cloistered nun, and I always watched my mom in a lot of prayer, meditation, and also um, transformation in terms of these are the results that she's having. I'm the youngest of 7. We certainly didn't have an easy lifestyle growing up. We didn't have really much money at all. But my mom never believed in that. In fact, what my mom used to do is she would get a green candle. This is a kind of a Catholic way. I always light candles, and you pray over not over the candles, but candles. The light of the candles are really important. Um, and she would put a silver dollar underneath the candle, and she would just be in the place of gratitude of this is all coming, and the finances are turning around, and whatever she needed. She's like, Fi, whenever I need anything, I always just say, okay, God, and got answers. Like that was what I learned growing up. So I grew up with that level and degree of faith. So it was never an issue. It's never been an issue for me to just say, I trust. I trust even in the worst experiences. And again, it hasn't. I'm a coach. I don't have this perfect lifestyle. I don't have, the pie in the sky stuff. I don't want people to think that it's all great. Everything. I love my life, and I think it's an absolutely amazing life, but I still have challenges, just like everybody else does. I still face some real difficult stuff, but I apply it. Everything that I teach, I would never teach it unless I learn. I use it myself. I would never teach it. So I I I learn and grow from all of the experiences. And as I said in the workshop today, our traumas and tragedies become our transformation and our triumph. And I want you to know, Nafe, that it's it's not just about me being here, but I have just as much appreciation for you and for Alex coming to the workshop today that you have for me, because if you weren't there, I wouldn't be able to share. And so it's very mutual, and it's a mutual respect and gratitude and appreciation, that for sure. So I I love being able to serve you in a way that supports you.
Oh, thank you. It was a massive shift because I have a conversation with my wife walking into to the workshop today, and it wasn't the prettiest conversation we ever have. And walking in there, I was like, "This is we're talking about like being at the right place at the right time. This is literally it right now." And it was a cool transformation for both of us to be able to see her go through her transformation. It opens me up, and we're talking about like level of awareness. There were some things in my own transformation that I did not see it until I'm sitting there helping my wife going through her own stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap, this is it. This is the part that I miss on mine. And it was amazing. So if you didn't go to it today, you missed out big time.
we'll
No.
we'll have
have
another
another,
one.
yeah.
Well, there will be
Yeah,
more.
it'll be on.
Either workshops or retreats. I mean, this is an ever growing, evolving opportunity, because it is my privilege to serve, and really it is in service of love. Like, I, for the last several weeks, have been infusing that room with love, and seeing your faces before you even came there. I saw your faces with breakthroughs, transformation, your heart's opening, your mind's opening, and that you are living the life that you love. And that's what I want. So the intention that I went into this with, it was that. And I did it, every single day over these last few weeks before I came out here. So
Well, for me, I get questions with like coaching, mentoring. A lot of people I'm sure listening have that same question of like, what sets a therapist apart from what you do? And for me, I mean, I think it would be very beneficial. I don't know how y'all feel about this. This is not planned, but I don't know how you feel about taking Nafe through a process if he's open to it, just so that people can hear or maybe experience what it's like to go through a transformational process that you teach.
and that would be with Nafe's permission, really, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course. Yeah. You want to do it? Oh, I love it. All right. Well, I first of all, I want to say this is really important. I'm not a therapist, and I have been in therapy, and it was very valid, very important for me when I early on when I was in therapy, because I felt heard. I felt my feelings were validated. I felt all of those things. So, um, the difference between therapy and coaching is, for me anyway, is coaching is an inside out job, and I use the body's wisdom to find the roadblock or the fear, because we either are experiencing love or fear. And so we use the body's wisdom to find where a fear may be held so we can pull that fear out. That's really what the emotional discovery process that I use. That's what we do. And then beyond that, we also get a chance to design our visions and learn how to live a life that we love living too. But we first start off with the discovery process, which is what we're going to take Nafe through right now. Okay. Ready?
I am ready.
Okay. So I want to ask you really, what is the one thing that you would say, Nafe, that's really keeps you awake at night or troubles you, or what's on your heart that you would like to share?
Um, very disappointed in myself
Mm,
with like results, but as well as performance that led to those results. And what I mean by that is going through, I mean, I just have running a lot of different businesses, and there was decision making in the business that I'm like, why did I do that? Why? I mean, I should have learned that. Somebody warned me about that, but I'm like, no, I'm going through this experience myself. Let me learn it for myself. That put me in a position where I'm not happy about. And because of those disappointment, like deep down, I'm constantly like telling myself, this is not it. Why? How do we end up here? And I'm kind of like dragging myself in this hole where I'm just constantly not happy with myself, with just how I've been showing up. And it lead me to a thought where I think that my wife is probably thinking about the same thing about me. Or, I mean, if my kids was any older, they'll probably say the same thing about exactly how they feel about me
mm.
with those performance.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does that make you feel on the inside physically? How do you feel when you are constantly saying that I'm disappointed in myself, or I don't like my results?
Like super heavy,
Heavy. Where is that
very
heaviness?
heavy.
Yeah.
It's like it go from here, it go from my heart, and it just gonna go down straight to my stomach,
Yeah. Yeah.
where most of the time is I just can barely breathe.
Barely breathe most of the time.
Yeah.
So you're walking around in kind of a constriction or restricted state. Yeah. Let's take a breath together. Okay. Breath is life. That's how we connect to life, is through our breath. Our breath is also the gateway or the bridge to the infinite. And the infinite side of us is what we're looking to do to be able to create a life we love. It's not about looking at what our current conditions, problems, or circumstances are, but our breath, and actually holding our breath connects us to the infinite. And so when we hold our breath, our nervous system sends a signal to our brain, and it says, flip the switch, flip the switch from our sympathetic nervous system to our parasympathetic nervous system. So when the reason why I designed what I'm going to take you through, and you learned it earlier today, the abundance activation breath work, I designed that so that it allows us to have a bridge to the infinite, and it allows our nervous system to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic, and we want to be in our parasympathetic nervous system because that is rest, digest, and create. And so we want to create a life we love. We don't want to beat ourselves up and force ourselves into a life that we love, because that's going to get you to this place.
Yep.
So my first thing that I want to encourage you to do is just to, when you start to feel that restriction, Nafe, is to breathe. Yeah, just to breathe, because we want to bring life, especially to your heart. Your heart, the heart, the place where love exists, is where we want you to go. Okay. So I'm going to have you do the abundance activation breath work. And whenever we feel restriction, this is a really great, easy, simple tool that anyone can use at any time, any place, and we all have access to it. So it's really easy. the abundance activation breath work is to inhale through your nose for 4, hold your breath for 4, and exhale gently like you're blowing out a straw for 4. And the entire time thinking of things that you're grateful for and things that you're proud of. Okay. So if you feel comfortable, sit back and close your eyes. Okay. So let's inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep your eyes closed, Nafe. Bring all of your awareness to the physical sensation inside your body. And for the purpose of energetic coherence, state out loud one thing that you're grateful for and one thing that you're proud of.
I'm grateful for my wife, Alex, and I'm very proud of my kids.
Yeah, of course you are. Breathe, take a breath. I'm grateful for my wife, Alex, and I'm proud of my kids. Yeah. Tell me what you feel physically inside your body when I reflect that back to you. What do you feel? What do you notice?
I feel like I'm spinning.
You're spinning. Yeah. And is that a spinning that makes you feel kind of dizzy or is it like a happy spinning, like spinning like a kid?
Spinning like a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I want you to just continue to breathe and just know that right now, right here, you're safe. All is well. And it's okay to let this little child play. It's okay to spin like a little kid, like your 2-year-old and your 1-year-old probably do all the time. And you probably all let them, like, right? But it's okay because that spinning is kind of their connection. And that's your connection too. Okay? It's okay. So now let me introduce the idea of you being disappointed in your results by you striving and striving and striving and not getting the results that you want. Let me introduce that idea to you now and tell me where in your body you feel that physically.
I can feel it in my hands.
In your hands. Tell me physically, what do you notice about your hands right now?
Very heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's an emotion associated with that heaviness in your hands, Nafe, what's the emotion that's here for you right now? And it's just the first thing that pops into your mind.
Angry and sad.
Angry and sad. Yeah. And so between angry and sad, just keep your eyes closed. And one of them is really wanting to be at the forefront. One of them wants your attention right now. And between angry and sad, which one wants your attention?
Angry.
Yeah. Okay. And so if angry had a voice, if we could give anger a platform to be finally heard and felt, what would angry say? What would angry want you to know? Just let it out without any filters.
very disappointed in you.
Yeah. Anything else here? Is there any more, Nafe? Now is a chance to let it out. Okay? Let it be heard. Let it be felt. Mm. Just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Let me ask you another question, okay? As you feel this anger, as you feel it, I see it's making you tremble. I want to ask you, keeping your eyes closed, I want to ask you a question, okay? When have I felt like this before? And in answer to the question, keeping your eyes closed, in your mind's eye, just look straight down at your feet and tell me what you're wearing on your feet, on your legs, where you are, and how old you feel yourself to be. When have I felt this trembling anger before? And just allow a vision or memory to just come forth. And what is here? What are you seeing or feeling or experiencing when I ask you, when have I felt like this anger before?
I'm barefoot.
You're barefoot. How old are you? Yeah. Yeah.
9.
9. And are you willing to share what is in your memory that's coming out of your cellular memory right now? And if it's too private, please let me know. This is your call. You have the highest authority here. Okay?
I'm standing right next to my mom's deathbed.
Yeah. You're 9 years old, and your mom has she already passed, or is she dying right now?
Yep.
She's dying, or she's dying.
She passed away already.
She already passed. Yeah. Yeah. I want you to take a breath. Yeah. So you're 9 years old. You're just a child. And your mom has just passed. Yeah. And who are you angry with? Who's your anger directed at?
My mom.
At your mom. I want you to bring your mom into your hands right now. She's here. She's here with you in spirit. She's not here physically, but she's with you in spirit. And I want you to tell your mom, Nafe, what it was like for you to be a 9-year-old little boy and to lose this very, very important person at such an early age. I want you to get that off of your chest right now. Speak to her as if she's right here with you. Tell her, Mom, and tell her how you feel.
Mom, life freaking sucks.
Yeah. Why did it suck?
No one get me like you do.
Yeah.
There's no one around too.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
It's very lonely.
Yeah. And it's still lonely, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. It's still really difficult for you, isn't it? And with the anger that's held inside of you, how could you possibly feel anything but disappointment that nothing is enough, right? Because you lost the one person that was your person. That was your person. You know she's here, right here with you right now, right?
Yep.
What would you like to share with her right now? What do you want to tell her as an adult child of hers?
But I get it.
You get it. Why do you get it?
You believe in me.
Yeah.
You know I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready to take your mom's hand and just say, I know you're here for me, Mom. You never left. You're just open to her now. Yeah. Yeah. Is that all you needed for the success that you really are striving for and working so hard for? Just you wanted Mom to be with you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just missed her so much that you really, really wanted her presence with you. She's here. She never left. She's here. But the anger covered it up. So now I want to ask you a question. Even though it was so painful for you to be a 9-year-old little boy and be by your mom's bedside as she died, even though you were so angry that she left you so early on, and part of that belief left too, but now you just reclaimed it, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Now you know your mom believes in you, and so do you. Even though, are you willing to utterly and completely forgive your mom?
Yep.
I want you to speak the words of forgiveness out loud.
Mom, I forgive you.
Do you love her? Do you love your mom?
And I love you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for being there
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. She's still here and she still wants to keep that connection. So anytime you need your mom, just put your hand on your heart and know that she's right where you are. Are there words of self-forgiveness, Nafe? You have words of self-forgiveness now.
I forgive myself. For even believing that my mom is not there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for questioning the amount of love that my mother had for myself.
Mm-hmm. And now I want you to tell me how you feel in your hands right now.
I feel like I just lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, you did.
Very light.
It's because you did. You lost 100 pounds of pain, 100 more. You did.
I can feel my fingers.
Yeah, you can feel your fingers. Yeah, good job. And now I want to say, Nafe, and ask you, are you willing now to just stop being disappointed in yourself and just opening your heart to serving people in a way that you already know how to, in your beautiful, heartfelt way, so that you can serve people from your heart because people really need you right now. And they need you to stop beating yourself up. And they need you to be in this place of really supporting and serving them in all your businesses and not being disappointed in results, but just welcoming the results that you know you're capable of. Are you willing to say yes to yourself and believe in yourself now?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to give your mom a hug. Tell her thank you for presenting today because she was here. Yeah. Yeah. Just feel her. And what do you feel in your heart right now?
My heart is very happy.
It's heavy still?
It's very happy.
Oh, happy. I'm sorry. Your heart is very happy. Yeah. How's your stomach?
There's nothing there.
No more anger. Well, congratulations. You did it. Thank you, Mom. And when you're ready, knowing that this forgiveness will continue naturally on its own without you even thinking about it. And you are going to have the success that you deserve because your mom is with you always. And her belief in you is going to just kind of continue your own belief in yourself. Okay. Thank you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Well,
You set me up, man.
thank you for your courage on that. That I mean that was that
Holy
I
crap.
watched your body tremble. I watched your hands shake and tremble, and that was when you said you were angry earlier today. I wasn't sure what that is. I never know what's going to come up, but I know your body knows, and your body brought that up for you today. Thank God, huh?
Yeah. I mean, my experience earlier, I told my wife, I was like, I just like the setting where I was at, I was like, I could not focus. I could not like feel my feet. And and I told my wife, I was like, I don't like I'm experiencing it right now, but and I'm going through my experience, but there was like a part of it that was like, okay. I was like, there's gotta be something in there. And it was crazy how I go from heavy and I could just feel my body shifted, and it was like it was a quick shift
Yeah.
where I was like, no, like it's not that I want those feeling back, but I'm asking myself, how the freak did this even happen? How did this even happen? And
Yeah. Yeah.
really, that was crazy. That was some magical, yeah, whatever that was.
Well,
Holy
it's the
crap!
magic of your body. Your body's wisdom is like the body wants to have pure love. The
Yeah,
body is pure love. And so when we hold on, I mean, as a 9-year-old child, anybody, I lost my mom when I was 51, sorry. And that was hard for me as a 51-year-old woman to lose my mom. And you were a 9-year-old boy. And I will tell you, I've seen a lot of grief, a lot of grief, and a lot of people have stuck grief just like you, because who knows how to be able to process a 9-year-old's grief? None of us do. And it impacts us over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So great job. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for being willing. That I know that was just very much just spontaneous, right? Yeah. Thank you for your this is transformational willingness. And I bet you that a lot of your viewers have no idea why they feel the way they do. I have no idea what is stuck.
yeah,
But when you just open up to the wisdom of the body to guide your process, that's all that is. And then it comes up and out, and like you said, it feels magical,
yeah.
but it's because your body just opened up to the truth within. So
That was
thank you.
beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You mother.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, this is like my dream to be able to have everyone close to me experience that, because I mean, I'll get teary-eyed. I don't even care. I'll get teary-eyed talking about it, because um, it's like a transformational thing that I'd never experienced in my life. And that's why I say, I think it was a couple episodes back when um, I think the wives had asked us the question, like, um, what is the one thing you would say to a entrepreneur or somebody who's trying to start the business? I'm like, hire somebody, hire a coach, because the amount of work that I've done and the amount of things that I've been able to get over to create success that I've been able to create, like I wouldn't have been able to do that by myself. So that's why I say is like, I'm so grateful that you were willing to go through the process, because I want everyone to be able to witness and know that this is out here. This is here for your ability to move past traumas that hold you back. And it's like there was a reason why I was sent that podcast by Ed Milet, and all he was talking about was just like those around you. You can tell people that you love them a million times, but the moment you start telling them you believe in them is like, wow, they can really start to build off that. And I wanted to say to you, like, I believe in you. And I know that's really like, most people don't want to like get on that level, right, with their friends and family. But it's so important to tell those around us, our friends and family, like, I love you and I believe in you. Because it is like, it really is hard to believe in yourself sometimes. So thank you for going through that process. Thank you for allowing people to see that part of you.
It's raw. It's raw. It's real. But this is how we all have that. And I agree. I think we need to continue to bring the message out to the world more and more and more. So most of your family now and friends now are have already
Yeah.
experienced it, because you keep telling everybody
Yeah.
you got to experience this.
Yeah.
So I love that. But I'm so appreciative of your courage and your willingness, and appreciative of you inviting me on. Both of you invited me on today.
That was probably the realest thing that I had to go through, and it was just that was my transformation. That was mine. Okay, that was it's just really cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I understand why you were asking me. It's like, hey, you want to cry on this podcast?
Did you really?
Yeah, I locked the door and I was like, hey, man, I'm ready for this podcast. And he was like, do you want to cry on the podcast? And I told him, I was like, I'm not gonna cry. Like, I'm not in the mood to cry. And yeah, no, I'm grateful for you because I know that I realized that every single time I'm like beating myself up, like I realized that the people that are so close to me, like those are the people that I hurt as well, just because of like how hard I'm fighting, between me and myself.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing this, because holy frick, yeah, that was just crazy. I like honestly, I was like, yeah, I don't even know if I was gonna go somewhere with it. And during the process, and I think it was like question number 3 that hit, and I'm like, oh man, she's getting me. And I mean, I could easily just go sideways, but I was like, no, I'm gonna sit with this. And I think that was the key thing that you always talk about, like just being open to it.
Yeah.
And I realizing how much I let myself and I tie myself up to a situation, and that situation lead to another situation, and because of all those results, that's ended up being my life. And I love when, I mean, I wish that people could see all the charts and stuff that you display today, because I was like, okay, now this is the real power of love. Like, this is some real stuff.
Yeah, the workshop was
really
called
cool.
The Power of
The
Love
Power of
for
Love.
anybody. Yeah.
And he always talk about it. I mean, Austin always talk about the power of love, but I'm like, I don't even know what are you talking about. But that was beautiful. So
Yeah.
yeah, like, hey, I mean, if you're watching this, if you think you know, you don't know. Yeah, like if you think you know, no, you don't.
Yeah. So with this process, with what Nafe just went through, what would you say to those that are skeptical to the self-development process or the self-discovery or the emotional discovery process?
Well, what I would say is it does require you to be open. And if they're skeptical, if people are skeptical of it and they're, not open, I mean, you were resisting it,
Yeah.
but you were still open. You were kind of like digging your heels in the ground, right? Like,
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden your soul just kind of opened up and said, I'm here. I'm ready. And so it was a turning point,
Yeah.
right? When in the process, and again, I never know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to come out ever. But I always 100% of the time get the outcome because the people are open and willing, to have their own transformation. So, if they're skeptical, it requires some more openness. But there is a part of you that always wants to be more loving and more willing to allow love's presence in rather than the critic. And way too many people are they listen to the voice of the inner critic rather than the voice of love in themselves.
Something that you talk about on, man, that sounds different. Holy crap. I'm like, sounds alive. Let's freaking go. I don't even recognize myself no more. Let's go. On that, holy crap, man. This is some like Illuminati stuff. This is crazy. I don't know, I'm even on your workshop today.
Yeah.
You were talking about, and I feel like that this transformation that I went through, it's very important because you were talking about the vision, that people had the vision about the things they want to accomplish in life, the life that they love to live.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned, and I'm going to have you talk about it a little bit too, because you were talking about the invisible formula of success that people don't even see it. You touch on that part, but also you talking about how we wanted to be here, but that little voice is coming in, but
Right.
there's a but in there.
Right.
Right. And I feel like that transformation that you just walked me through, that helped me deal with the voice.
Did we kick you in the butt?
You
really?
did. It was more than that.
I couldn't resist that one.
Yeah,
I couldn't resist that one. We kicked your butt out, right?
Yeah, because you hit me with questions, and there were questions in there,
Yeah.
and that I was like, "Whoa, like this is crazy!" Like she asked me this question, I'm like there, and I'm there. I'm like fighting myself, but I'm open. I'm open. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool, because you told me to write about the life that I love to live.
Yeah.
And there were things that I put in there. I was like, oh, I don't even know about this one. I don't even know about this one. I don't even know if I'm worthy enough to be able to accomplish this one.
Yeah.
But after that, I'm over here. I'm like,
You are.
this it's just insane. So can you like elaborate, like, just on that transformation, how that helped you deal with that little voice of wanting to be up here, but you have to deal with that little voice down here?
Well, I think one of the best things that can occur is really to be open to your own emotional roadblocks within, like to have awareness that we can try and push and push and push ourselves to succeed, but that was blocking you. When you have the energy of anger that's in your body from when you were 9 years old, but you didn't know what was blocking it, when we finally remove that roadblock and we opened you up, because now you're saying, man, I feel like I just want to go. I'm ready.
Yep.
That's the first thing that is required, is to really check in with yourself. Be connected to how you feel, not what you think. Because your thinking is the critic, but your feeling is the truth. Your thoughts are going to lie to you.
Wow.
But your feelings are going to tell you the truth. And your feeling, and you said it this afternoon, I got a lot of anger here.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot of anger right here, right? Yeah. So we just dove into the anger because you never got a chance to feel fully the anger of the grief of the loss of your mom. And the thing that creates cellular memory or causes cellular memory in our bodies is the lack of feeling it fully physically in our bodies.
Yeah, I think we can cut the episode here. I think we're gonna call a timeout.
After that one, seriously.
After that one, holy.
No, it's a really cool process to be able to go through and be able to experience, because like you seriously don't know what is causing you to feel the way you do right now. And it could be something that happened last week, or it could be something that happened, when you're 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I could see a lot of, we're on the Rules Don't Apply show, so I can see a lot of rules in your life that you don't allow, like society's rules, to dictate your life. Like, even you talk about, you had stories of weather where you're like, no, like it's not going to rain right now.
Yeah. So
talk a little bit about the rules in your life that you don't allow to be applied to you.
Yeah, it's a fun question for me to contemplate, because the rules, the rules here on earth, we always see these rules or kind of the social norms or societal norms. We always see them broken, right? So think about the 4-minute mile. Everybody said nobody's going to, hit the 4-minute mile, and then it was hit, and then whatever it was 4 or 6 weeks later, it was hit again. You see, so the rules don't apply to what man is capable of, because there is infinite possibility for everything. And we just have to be open to that infinite possibility. So for me, we don't apply man's laws or God's, or man's laws or earth's laws. We apply God's laws. That's really what is important here. And with God, all things are possible.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful.
That is so powerful. You also talk about the feeling. You just mentioned, about like the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about people like reciting the life that you live. And you talk about it today on your workshop.
Right.
And you talk about how important it is for people to feel it. That there's a difference between reciting it and saying it, but also, do you feel it?
Right.
Like talk about that, about how
Well,
important it is to feel.
the nervous system and the feeling state is our connection to the infinite. And so the feeling state is what we're looking to get to, not the thinking state. The thinking state we can have, by memory, we can, rehearse and recite these words. But unless we're actually activating the feeling of it, as if we are living this life, as if we, have built 7 businesses that are multi-million dollar businesses, and our children are thriving and happy and healthy, and our relationship with our spouse is wonderful. It's we must feel that, because that nervous system signals the universe that this is our life. And so that's when things start to line up. And that's where striving for things doesn't happen. That's why, like, when I can sit back and say, okay, I'm ready for the next client internationally to come, or clients, or whatever that is, I can sit back and hold that state, and I don't have to strive and strive and strive and stress myself out for it, because there's a feeling that, yeah, this is my reality. The weather on Easter, my reality was it wasn't going to rain, even though the weather report and everybody else told me that I was crazy. But I just said, no, this is what I feel inside of me, because I believe that this is my reality. And so you have to believe your reality is that's the life that you're living. You have to believe it if you want to see it in your outer experience. Got to believe it here, and then you can see it here.
Yeah, it's been the main difference, I feel like, for me is before I would go through those things, I'd go through the motions. The first time it happened, and you'd work with me on it, and I was like, I wanted to pay this debt back. And when I really started to feel that the debt was paid back, I was introduced to this opportunity that I was like, where the heck did this come from? Like, I don't even know where this thing came from, but it came out of nowhere. No expectations to how I was going to do it, but it just came to me, and I was like, wow, this is something that I would have never have thought of, but it did.
Well, because you can't think of it. The infinite mind, the infinite intelligence, the infinite solution is what brings that, or brings solutions to you. When you're in your cognitive mind, we're just looking at what's here, what our eyes can see. And how could you possibly know that this is an idea to eliminate this debt that you were looking to pay off? You couldn't possibly visualize that. So when you feel it, then you're opening up to all possibilities, the infinite possibilities, and things just land into place.
Yeah, it happened just a couple days ago. Like, I was sitting there frustrated, like he is, like frustrated about what was going on. I want to make money. I want to do this, and starting the construction company and wanting to get roofs. It's like I needed a roof. And then I just started to sit there. You challenged me to say, just sit there for 5 minutes and say, this is what I would love. And I mean, what, 8 roofs have come out of the woodworks in the last 2 weeks. So it's like, yeah. And I didn't necessarily have to like think of what I had to do. It was just like, okay, I'm going to feel it. And then the next thing that came, I'm going to take action on that thing. And there was like text messages sent out or calls, and he posted on social media. So it's like, I didn't realize that part, but how important it is to like feel it, to feel like it's already there. It's real.
Yeah. And a huge part of what you were sharing that I really really love, that you have to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe it. You have to believe in yourself. And I remember there was a few times we go out and like knock, and we sit there in the car. We're like, wow, we're going to sell roofs. But I'm like looking. We both look at each other. I'm like, I don't think we even believe this thing. I don't even. And then we go in there. We got our first snow, and we look at each other. I was like, what are we doing? Like, what are we even doing?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. I came home and I told my wife, I don't even know where we're going with these things. But deep down, I wasn't even believing in every single thing that
Yeah.
we're. And you were talking about like how important language is, and you shifted a lot of language that you use in your workshop today. And that's something that I love and I believe, and I believe it And but lately, when we go knocking, I don't even believe anything. I mean, like you're talking about today, and one of my belief is that a lot of time in my life that I like to talk about the storm in my life, and not realizing that instead of like talking about the storm, you can speak to the storm, and that was the authority that I felt when you speak. You're like, no, it's not gonna rain today, and you believe it. You like, no, I'm not gonna talk about the rain. I'm gonna speak to the rain, tell the rain, hey, you can hold off until all my guests are leaving, and that's exactly what happened to you. You said your last guest just closed the door, boom. Like you can hold off. And that's something that I adopted today
Yeah.
because I was and my thought coming over here to the podcast, I was like, now that I get to experience V and going through your process,
Yeah.
and then you take me to a whole nother level today, to a whole world that I never thought it exist.
Yeah.
And in my heart right now, I'm like, I can't wait to go with this guy. It's like when you're out of line, I was like, hey, we're gonna put ourselves in check because now we know what we're even talking about,
So
right?
now-
Now we know about the power of love. So this is gonna be like very, very interesting. 'Cause
Well,
now we're on the same page, right?
my recommendation for you guys is really to keep your customer service as your primary. Like, how are you bringing love to the customers that you're serving, rather than I gotta get this the business built, and take the pressure off and flip the switch to how am I serving? Because when we serve another, that is, I call it the boomerang effect. When we serve another from love, love returns. So when we are serving from, I don't believe in this,
Yeah.
we're going to get, I don't believe, and that is translates into a no, you see. And I did, by the way, there was a bad rainstorm for a wedding that I did back in September of 2022. And the bride really wanted her wedding outside badly, and it was pouring. It literally poured. But I in the morning I have a sauna in my house, and I put this bubble around the area, and I just said thank you. Everything is working in our favor, and so um, it's really funny. Um, so, and this is like one of my best friends and her husband, their daughter. And I take the father of the bride outside, and I walked outside and I go, "You are gonna stop raining right now." And I like commanded it. And he freaked out. He was like, "What is she doing? She's yelling at the sky right now." But we wanted to do the wedding. All these guests were waiting, and we needed to make a decision right then and there. So, lo and behold, the rain stopped. Everything cleared. We wiped off the chairs for the guests to sit outside, and I was able to marry them outside. So sometimes when you're in that space of really wanting to say no to what your experience is, I'm here to tell you, you can have that command. That, Moses did it, right?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
10
that's true.
Commandments, right?
I
I
mean,
mean, he was like, no, here,
Yeah.
I'm going to part this river.
Yeah.
So you see, so there is that, we have that authority to do that, but not in a mean, kind of way, but in an authoritative way. Yeah.
I mean, because you talk about like faith, and that's
Yeah.
what I feel.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have to stick to the faith.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I could learn one thing from you, it was faith. It go along with every single thing that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have faith that this thing was even going to work out, I don't think I'll be open up to it.
Right.
And it's just a really, really cool experience. So I really do appreciate your time and all the things that you taught. And when I said that you simplify things that I had to be in there for 3 years trying to learn all this bull crap, and I told my wife, it was frustrating because I sit there and I'm not very patient when I go into things like that. But then today, you condense a lot of things that I try to understand, and the word that you use, the process that you run through, you make it so simple that it was like too good to be true.
Mm.
And you promised today about whatever you put in, that's what you're getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And being here at the podcast, I believe that when I'm about to go through a transformation, there's also like a little portal there. It's always open up. And if I'm not going to dive into it, I'm going to miss it. And I'm going to have to experience a lot of pain in order for me to go back and find it.
Yeah.
And then today I found the bottle. I was like, no, I'm jumping right into it. I mean, I didn't know that he's going to put me in that situation. But I mean, that's what I love about like Austin. Austin doesn't give up easy. And shit, like, you're a great friend. And I really do appreciate you. And it was just crazy information, and it was a crazy experience for myself.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you do is real, like it's real.
That's all you can say. It's real.
Like it is real, guys. Like and it could be like that simple.
Yeah.
And I complicated this whole freaking thing. Yeah, it was just so simple.
Yeah.
And I love the questions that you ask. Like you're so good at like asking those questions. What inspires you? Or like what makes you ask those good questions? I want to know.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really the whole concept of this coaching is I step back. It is not me.
Wow.
It is through me that it comes. So my very clear intention is that people are transformed through love, and that they remember themselves as love and light, love. And we did the light
Yep.
exercise at the end. And I want everybody to know that they are love and that they are light. And that's their reality. And so I just ask before I go into any session, before I start my day, before I go to the grocery store, I just ask and say, I'm here only to be truly helpful, and I represent that love that is helpful.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's where I get it from. That's why when we were driving the truck and I was like, we were looking to go knock some doors, and I'm driving the truck. I'm like, God, please.
The only
Just give us
difference,
a
the only difference is Austin didn't believe it.
Yeah.
He said it. And I'm like, hey man, they have broken shingles. Nah, I don't think they have. So now we're gonna believe it. We're gonna,
You guys
this
have
is
a
it.
whole new way.
Oh yeah.
A whole
Oh,
new
yeah.
way of
Oh,
getting
yeah,
through this
like-
now.
Hey, I mean I'm happy. I'm happy that's my life now.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
You have the power.
Yeah. I mean, that life that I want is absolutely look good on me.
It
Like-
does. Life looks really good on you. Yeah.
And that transformation I went through today, it looks really, really good on me.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful.
Thanks. I'm grateful for you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you coming on the podcast, and I just wanted to share it with all of our listeners, and we're really grateful for our listeners, and seriously, we feel the love from them on listening to our stuff, having to put up with our bullshit. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to see you again. If not, we're gonna see you in Chicago.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
But yeah, we're gonna come visit.
Yeah, no,
I'm down
Come
for
on
it.
down. Come on down. Yeah. No, I think this is we're building momentum here, and I think
Yeah.
we've got a community of people that really deserve to continue this. So yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Do it.
Here we go. Thanks, guys.